Today is Wednesday, June 23rd, and this is a meeting of the FNF subcommittee. I am going to, there we go. Can everybody on the meeting see the agenda? Okay, so we have 3 voting members tonight. And I'm going to probably ask each of you, right? One of you has to make a motion and the other one has to second it. Okay, so who we have in this meeting right now are school committee member Kim Coelho, myself, Linda Visnick, member of the public, Jeffrey Silva, from the school district, Jean Sherborne, Dr. Chirocek, from the city of Beverly, Mr. Mike Collins, and our recording secretary, Elizabeth Curran. And that's who, oh, and a member of the public, Miss Rachel. Okay, so there's our attendance. Our first item on the agenda is meeting minutes from our last meeting, May 19th, 2021. I would be looking for a motion to approve those.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Coelho. Mr. Silva, I saw your lips move, but you're on mute.
I second.
Awesome. Any comments or corrections? Okay, seeing none, we'll take a vote. It has to be a roll call because Mr. Silva is remote. Mr. Silva, do you vote to accept the meeting minutes?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Coelho?
Yes.
Okay, you could probably do a thumbs up if you're having trouble with that unmuting thing. And myself, yes, so that passes 3-0. Next item on our agenda is the building and grounds report. We got that report from Ms. Sherborne. Does anybody have any questions about it? I see none from Ms. Coelho, Mr. Silva. And I have none. So that's a non-voting item. Who's going to give the update on the Director of Public Schools Division of Maintenance?
Mr. Collins is, and it is in the report,
Okay.
but I asked him to speak about it.
Hi, good evening. Very happy to report that we finally have made an offer to an excellent candidate who's accepted the offer, and we're just working through the final details of onboarding. He's actually a Beverly resident and working in another local school district. And we hope over the next couple of days to have the paperwork finalized where we can actually have him start transitioning from his current job into being in the district. Initially, it might only be a day a week, because I've always advised all of our new employees that it's a long life and we can't burn bridges. So he's working with a current employer to make sure that we don't leave them in the lurch. And we're very excited. It's highly qualified, very, very professional and personable, and a number of Dr. Chirocek and Jean and Aaron Brown and Fran Sordillo from my office interviewed a group of candidates, and they're all excellent candidates. And I really appreciate their time and in the process. But we have one that will be our new DNG Director, who'll be a great fit for the district, and we're really looking forward to it.
And do we get, it's a secret until it's like announced?
I'm just, I don't think it's really a secret necessarily. His name's Bob Schiroli. Like I said, he's the Beverly resident, and got one young boy and another one soon to be. So some future Beverly students. So he'll be, I think that's certainly another thing that will make this a really positive experience, because not that all of our DNG directors have had really the job close to their heart, but it's a unique perspective to have your own kids in the building as well. So
Awesome. All right, does anybody have any questions?
I'll try, surely.
That's what we need.
Okay. All right, there's our minutes. We're done with the
So I
minutes.
did just send you my, I know,
Okay,
I
hold on.
forgot to send it to you.
I'll grab it from email. Hold, please. Finance and facilities. New report about, can I? All right, hold on a second. I have to share a different application. Okay. All right,
Thank you.
can you see it? All right, I'm gonna go on mute and you tell me when to advance.
Okay, so the Finance and Facilities meeting on Wednesday, June 23rd, we're hiring hybrid and remote access. And my little picture is talking about schools out for the summer. Next. So the overview that we're having today is about the fiscal year end. My administration updates is going to be talking about elementary music fees, building rentals, and anticipated special education clerical position, and then the FY21 financial reports. And the first thing I have here is we're discussing the elementary strings program. Just lost my.
Stop sharing.
Yeah. Is the elementary strings program. The current fee is $210 per student. Students in the Beverly Public Schools attend general music classes throughout elementary school, and once they reach the third grade, they may choose to begin their instrumental music journey. Beginning in that grade, they can learn a strings program through our elementary music program. Taken from the elementary strings program website page. Students may benefit from joining an instrumental group, as it is not only builds individual and work ethic through consistent practicing, but also builds karamate. Oh my God, I can't even speak. Social development, excuse me, teamwork in a full ensemble setting. We've been talking about eliminating fees. As you know, we were able to eliminate the parking fee and the kindergarten. The administration is requesting the elimination of the elementary music fee beginning in FY22 school year. I am able to have enough funds in the revolving account for next year, as we've already built our budget, but I am able to cover the costs that we have for the teacher offset. So I'm looking for a vote from the committee to eliminate the elementary music program fee in the next fiscal year.
Okay, so now I have a horse.
Sorry.
I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
A second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
How much funds were raised as part of the that fee total?
Mr. Silva's question is how much
I can-
are we?
Bypassing by not charging the fee. 33,415.
So that was what was collected in past years. But you have to remember that we've moved the fifth grade to the middle school, eliminating some collections of fees from the fifth grade. And so I think the strings portion was about 12,000, right?
Yes.
And then there was about 21,000 from the band section.
And we're eliminating, we're just proposing it. We've been taking, we know that eliminating fees has been an important priority for the school committee as we look forward. This is one that when we look at our budget and when we look at how we were using the offset, it seemed that we could easily absorb the difference given the way that we have our FTE spread between the middle school and the elementary school at this point in time. And so it would be 33,000 in total, 12,000 of it was on the string side.
And I will remind everybody who's watching that the old parking fee was approximately 10,000 when we eliminated it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Silva?
Yes, thank you.
Do you have any other questions? All right, I'll just make a comment that anytime we can eliminate a fee, I'm always excited. All right, so there's a motion on the table. A roll call vote. Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Ms. Coelho,
That is a happy yes.
and myself, yes. That passes 3-0.
Thank you. Next slide.
I'm really out of Zoom shoes.
I know. So on the next item I have on here is talking about school building rentals. We've been receiving numerous calls of people looking to see if we're able to open up our facilities. So therefore, I'm informing the committee that we're starting on August 1st of this year. We'll start renting out our facilities to outside organizations again. We've had a few requests that have come in for like a one-time, but for consistent, every Sunday or other programs, excuse me, we're going to be opening up the facilities excuse me, August 1st. This allows the custodians time to clean, remove the furniture and other things that have been stored in the areas that are usually rental. The applications will be processed through the building administration, which is what our process has been, to ensure that the school-based needs are met prior to the rental of the facilities to outside organizations. And
You don't, we're not voting or
not
anything. We're
voting
just
on
going to
that.
the
That's
next
just,
slide.
that's
Okay.
just giving you information that it is. I mean, we've been receiving calls. We do have, excuse me, a additional church that's looking for space. We're checking to see where we can, if there's any elementary schools that are interested in having a church every Sunday, but primarily, we're going to be having a lot of the sports that want to be utilizing the gym. So Mike Parker is going to be looking at the gym floors to see if anything needs to be done with them prior to we, renting anything out. Excuse me. The next thing I have on here is that there's an anticipated special education clerical position that the administration is requesting to support the increased needs of the department. A lot of these needs are coming out of the pandemic and needing to schedule IEP meetings and monitoring student records. The clerical support position will be ESSA funded in FY22, as we don't have it built in our budget for this coming year. The position will be a school year administrative assistant position, and Ms. Splansky will be working on the job description this summer. However, she informed me the basic duties and responsibilities will include scheduling IEP annual review meetings, monitoring and maintenance of the student records in the special education department. So we don't have a job description to bring forward tonight, but we just wanted to bring it forward that this is a need that we are finding we need. We know we have funding for it. So I'm not looking for a vote, but just to inform you that there is an additional position that will be coming forward in the fall.
So I'm not sure that we need a specific job description because we're putting this position in an already established position.
School year
Administrative assistant, right? We know which.
We already have that, yes. We
So
just
we don't
would
need
have a,
The
The job description is just so that people know what tasks.
they would be doing, but
Right.
the way that we have the clerical set,
it's not a new
Contract.
classification. Right, whoops.
Something's funky with your headphones, Dr. Trocheck, so you're kind of fading in and out.
Oh, sorry.
Do people who are dialed in hear that as well?
Yes.
Yes, when she turns to the left. So if she looks straight forward, it works
Okay.
just fine.
I will not be looking at Jean any longer.
we
We
already
have the job descriptions in a categorized basis in our clerical contract. So
we don't need a job description. Different tasks are associated. We already know
what category it's going to be in. So
I don't think we need to do a job description for a vote.
I just think
We just need to do it.
You maybe need new batteries. You may
I
charge
think-
up or something.
Miss Sherburne also needs to mute when somebody else is unmuted in the room. Sorry.
So that is all I have here. And the next slide I have is talking about budget, but the financial reports coming forward. I do not have any budget transfers for the committee to vote on this evening. I'll be reviewing the revenues, the expenses. We do not have any additional grants to move forward tonight, and we have gifts to schools.
So which one do you want first?
We can do the revenue report.
All right, hold while I switch my share again.
Mhm. I think I'm all right.
All right, are we good?
Okay, yep. So therefore, this is the revenues report. As you can see that we're still looking for the final allocation to be applied in munis from the city. That is the top portion of the city appropriation. So this report was done at the end of May, at the beginning of June. So there's a few things that we're still waiting for. The school choice, the final payment will be coming in. The circuit breaker, I have seen that that's coming our way for 538, 737. And the special education tuitions, we're looking for believe it's the June payments to come in and be posted into Munis. The transportation revolving, I do not believe that we'll be receiving that 5,430. I do believe that we pretty much have collected what we're going to be collecting this year. That was, my final for the end of the year is I'll be, the deduction amount of 199,600 will be reduced. The building rental fees, we still have $2,899 for my anticipated. However, that's going to come in a little bit higher because the YMC program that we receive funding from for building rental is higher than that. And the preschool revolving, we're still collecting from some of the students for the final month. The user fees, I do believe that there are some payments that haven't been posted to Munis for athletics. However, I am not anticipating that I'm going to be receiving that whole amount because the enrollment was down. Any questions on revenues?
Will you mute? All right, so I'm looking for your hand, Mr. Silva, or I'm looking to my left. Do either of my FNFers have questions about the revenues? Yes, Mr. Silva?
So based on what you said that you do not think you'll be receiving, that's about 26,000?
So I can't hear him.
Oh, he wants to know if you're, all right, so we have a little, our audio technical difficulties here. The question is, based on what you said, you're anticipating not receiving, is it approximately $26,000?
Yes.
And we have a yes and a head nod, and I made her mute so that I could be unmuted.
I'm happy to type my questions if that would be easier.
Whatever. Do you have any more? So yeah, it's about $26,000. And I'll anticipate your next question. Can we cover that?
Yes.
Yes, we can cover that. Any other questions? All right, well, my question is always, but we already built the budget. So when we don't bring in a given number, like athletics, we built next year's budget with probably this year's number, right? We didn't adjust the number, but we would hope that the athletic participation would come back up next year. So of the other things that we're falling short on, how do we feel about, are we in trouble for next year, or do we also expect them to recover?
I expect.
We'll switch. Okay, go ahead.
I
Switch.
do anticipate that next year our funding, what our offsets will be okay for what we shall receive. I did make sure that I moved some costs into the appropriate budget to cover the shortfall that I was anticipating from there. So I moved funds from other areas that we did have some surplus in to cover those. So as far as next year is concerned, I feel that we're still adequately budgeted. So I'm going to unmute for the gifts to schools. So this month was a very lonely amount. We did receive $35.42 for the district-wide for the Ohio Pile royalty check. That's where they sell T-shirts or clothing that says Beverly, and they send us $35.42. So I'm looking for approval of that.
Jean, if you mute, I'll unmute and I'll talk. I'm muted, unmuted. I am muted. Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
Motion to accept.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Roll call, Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Ms. Coelho.
Yes.
Myself, yes, that passes 3-0.
Excuse me. Can you hear me okay now? Okay. So the final report I have here is the year-to-date budget report. So this report was run last week when I was preparing for the meeting. And just wanted to highlight that this was not all the payrolls were posted. So many of the payrolls for the teachers' balloon check had not been posted. And some of the purchase orders that we haven't put in through have, thank you. We're still in the middle of processing the end of year. So as I say to the other leaderships members yesterday, is that everybody else is on summer vacation, but this next 2 weeks is when I will be actually closing my, fiscal year. So I'll be making changes. If there's any particular account that anybody's would like to look at, I welcome that. I do want to point out there's some areas that I always look at which is the SP 860 area, which is on page 37. We have expended all of the funds there. So one area that we can have some encumbrances in for the end of the year is the tuition accounts. So we have that. I am anticipating that the budget will have spent all of our budgeting money. There's a few things that where we've had some savings in the district this year. We were able to do some things that we, normally cannot do. So if anybody has any specific questions, I'll try to get to them.
All right, I'm looking around the room. If anybody has any questions about any particular line item, noting that, as Ms. Sherburne said, any given line item is not yet quote unquote zeroed out or 100% spent because she still has her last 2 weeks before she gets to be on vacation.
Were there any line items that were a surprise in terms of overspending?
Did we overspend? Are we surprised at any overspending line items? Do we even have any overspending line items?
No, I don't have any overspending line items at this time, pretty much, or I do not anticipate any. What I am able to do is, as you know, if I have a cost center, excuse me, that I have to bring to you any transfers that cross cost centers. So if I had some surplus in a particular account, like say an OT account, as long as I'm still in the OT, I'm able to shift the funds so that we could make some purchases at the end of the year and or, for encumbrances. But I don't have any accounts that I anticipating deficits on.
Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. All right, any other questions? So this was the last item, well, of our reports down here. We didn't have any transfers. We did our gifts to schools, we did our revenues, and these are our expenses. Before we close out, I guess my next question is, if you find that you need a transfer, will you bring that to us in the fall, or might we have to meet over the summer?
I plan on bringing any transfers that I have to do to close out the books in the fall in our first meeting, as I usually do each year. Mainly if I do find that I have some surpluses in some areas, the first thing I do is I look at our revolving accounts to see if there's any way that I can shift some things that were paid for out of revolving into the appropriated. So to leave us that, those balances that gives us a healthy balance for the next year. And I'll be looking at, the grant funding to ensure that the grant funding is adequate also. So there may be some items that are shifting from grants into the appropriate, but I definitely will be bringing a transfer to you in the fall.
Okay, fantastic. And my fellow FNFers, before we close out, do you have any additional subjects, questions, comments? All right, we get about 2 months off, and I wish to, use this opportunity to thank you for your service, especially you, Mr. Silva, as a member of the public. We greatly appreciate it. And I hope we all get to enjoy. Oh, wait, Jean maybe has something. Oh, yes, I did. Thank you. Okay, so we also had on our agenda up here, item number 3, which I skipped right over. I have something that I want to say about that. I have to I had to write myself a note. Hold on one second. Okay, so we received a request last week at the school committee of the whole. Rachel, Miss Abel, President Abel, read a statement from a community member. And so we started to pursue naming an athletic room in the high school after our beloved Mr. Goodhue. However, at the request of the honoree and his family, we're going to place this request on file. We will take it back up at a later time when the family is prepared to do so. Okay, so sorry, I skipped right over that. Thank you, Jean, for bringing that back to my attention. I was so out of Zoom shape. I'm happy to be out of Zoom shape. Okay, so we're on break, FNFers, until probably September, right? Okay, probably all of July and all of August, you get to just go to the beach. That's my background today. I'm channeling that, okay? All right, thank you, everybody. Good night.